بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن عظمتك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. The third chapter of 11th section is about one more classification of knowledge, and that is to divide knowledge into kulli and juz'i. What we mean by kulli and juz'i, it's different from what we had about ilm husuli, is either kulli or juz'i. Here they mean by kulli a type of knowledge that is not changed by the change of ma'loom bil araf. You remember we said when you know something, for example, a flower outside, you have an image of flower inside. Philosophers say ma'loom bizat is that image. What you primarily know and is known to you is surat al-zihniya, is the mental image of flower. But through this you know what is outside. So that is ma'loom bil-araz. That is known by the help of this image. Okay. So sometimes I have knowledge of a flower which is growing. So because the flower is growing, if it affects my knowledge, then this is ilm juz'i. I am seeing the flower every day and I see the flower is growing. So my knowledge is changing. But sometimes the change of flower does not change my situation because my knowledge is prior to the existence of flower. Like, for example, a constructor who has image of something, a building, a tower, a bridge, he has the image and then makes it. Whatever change happens to what is outside will not affect that image that he had. Or when you, for example, suppose you are a person, astronomer, that is able to calculate moon eclipse, for example. Through your calculation, you know that at certain time this is going to happen. This knowledge that you have is before that happens, and when it is starting, when it becomes maximum, when it is starting to clear, those changes do not affect that knowledge. So ilm kulli is the knowledge which is not changed by the change of ma'loom bil aras. Ilm juz'i is the one that is changed by the change in ma'loom bil aras. الفصل الثالث ينقسم العلم انقساما آخر إلى كلي وجزئي. Knowledge is divided in another classification into kulli and juz'i. So this is a new meaning because we had another classification to kulli and juz'i. المراد بالكلي ما لا يتغير بتغير المعلوم بالعرض. What is meant by kulli is that knowledge which does not change with the change of ma'loom bil-araz, with the change of what is known secondarily, which is the external reality. كسورة البناء التي يتصورها البناء. The first is bana, the second is banna. Bana is the building, construction. Banna is the builder. the image of building that the builder conceives في نفسه ليبني عليها, so that he builds upon that. That surah is not going to change. The surah is there before the building is made, when the building is being made, and afterwards, even the building is changing, collapsing, it's there. فالسورة عنده على حالها قبل البناء ومع البناء وبعد البناء. This image is with him before, during, and after. وَإِنْ خَرَبَ وَانْهَدَمَ, even if the building is destroyed. خَرَبَ means it's damaged. انهدم means collapses. The surah is this, is there. This is called وَيُسَمَّى عِلْمَ مَا قَبْلَ الْكَثْرَةِ. This is the knowledge before multiplicity, before changes happen. You know, that image is general, is universal. But then when you start building, you can build it in many different ways, with different material, different color, different shape. It can be many. But your knowledge is before this multiplicity is there. وَالْعُلُومُ الْحَاصِلَةِ مِنْ طَرِيقِ الْعِلَالِ كُلِّيَّةٌ مِنْ هَذَا الْقَبِيلِ دَائِمًا. All different types of knowledge that come through causes, means when you know the cause, then you can see what is going to happen as its effect. For example, you know the motion of earth around sun, motion of moon around the earth. When you know these motions, you know that as a result there would be eclipse, because you know the cause. This is ilm kulli. Al-ulum al-hasila. Or for example, a doctor can know that if this person eats this food or poison, this is going to happen. But this knowledge that he has before that person eating that food or poison, this knowledge is kulli. Al-ulum al-hasilatu min tariq al-ilal kulliyatun min hadha al-qabil da'ima. Those types of knowledge which are achieved through knowing the causes are universal, like this always. كعلم المنجم بأن القمر منخسف يوم كذا ساعة كذا إلى مدة كذا يعود فيها الوضع السماوي بحيث يوجب حيلولة الأرض بينه وبين الشمس. Like astronomer whose knowledge is that the moon is going to have eclipse in certain day, certain time, for certain duration, and in that condition, al-wad'u samawi, the condition in the sky between earth and moon and sun would be such that would make earth occur between sun and moon. And earth then doesn't let the light of sun reach moon, so moon becomes dark. The moon eclipse. فَعِلْمُهُ, so knowledge of astronomer ثابت على حاله قبل الخسوف ومعه وبعده. The knowledge of the astronomer is fixed before moon's eclipse, during moon's eclipse, and after that. Opposite to ilm kulli is ilm juz'i. والمراد بالجزئي ما يتغير بتغير المعلوم بالأراز. Is that type of knowledge that changes with the change of what is known accidentally, means what is outside. كما إذا علمنا من طريق الإبصار بحركة الزيت. Like for example, when through seeing with eyes, we know that Zayd is moving. You are seeing Zayd is walking. ثم إذا وقف عن الحركة. When you are seeing him moving, then you see he reaches the crossroad and stops. So that surah, that image that you had in mind of him walking now has changed because he has stopped. As long as he was walking, you were seeing him walking. When he has stopped, your knowledge also changes. He's no longer walking in your mind. ثم إذا وقف عن الحركة تغيرت الصورة العلمية من الحركة إلى السكون. Then that image would change from motion to being idle. ويسمى, or you say idle or still? Still? Oh, yeah. وَيُسَمَّى عِلْمًا مَا بَعْدَ الْكَثْرَةِ. And this type of knowledge is called knowledge after multiplicity. Okay. Then there is a question here. This is a very good question. The person who asked the question may say, okay, in the past you said knowledge is mujarrad. Knowledge is not maddi. Means knowledge has no change and therefore no potentiality. But now you say ilm juz'i yataghayyaru bitaghayyur al-ma'lum bil-aras. You say ilm juz'i is changing because of the change in ma'lum bil-aras, which means that it has to have potentiality. If it is mutaghayyir, so it has to have quwwah for taqayyur. So it should have madde, matter. So it is not mujarrad, it becomes maddi. How can something which is mujarrad have potential for change? The answer is, this is a very delicate answer. Knowledge is not as such changing. Please be very careful. Knowledge is not changing. Ma'lum is changing. If I saw Zayd walking from 10 o'clock till 10:30, and then at 10:30 I stopped, does my knowledge of him walking from 10 to 10:30 changes? No. Yes, I know that at 10:30 he was no longer walking. But indeed, this is not taqayyur fil ilm. This is taqayyur fil ma'loom. Knowledge has not changed. If you think knowledge is changed, it is on the surface. If you look at it carefully, it means that we were watching something which was changeable and we have different pictures, different recordings of that, like our mind, like a camera records. When you record, this person is changing, but what you have recorded doesn't change. It remains as a fact. فإن قلت التغير لا يكون إلا بقوة سابقة وحاملها المادة. If you say تغير cannot happen, change. تغير means change. تغير cannot happen unless there is a preceding potentiality. وحاملها, and what carries that potentiality is al-madda, is the matter. And this implies that ulum juz'iyya, particular knowledge, must be maddi. Because you say al-ilm al-juz'i ma yataghayyaru bitaghayyur al-ma'lum bil-a'ras. So if al-ilm al-juz'i yataghayyar, kullu taghayyurin yahtaju ila قوة وكل قوة يحتاج إلى مادة لأن المادة حامل القوة. So ilm then became maddi, not mujarrad. Okay, if you make this objection, إن قلته قلنا, then we say in response, العلم بالتغير غير تغير العلم. This sentence is very important, the key sentence. العلم بالتغير غير تغير العلم. Knowing change is different from change in our knowledge. You have knowledge of change, not change in your knowledge. This knowledge of what it used to be and what it is now always remains true. You can say from 10 to 10:30 was walking, 10:30 stopped. This remains always the same. That person is not in the same condition, but your knowledge always remains the same. You understand the point? You know, your knowledge of the change is not changing. If I know that this person for half an hour was walking and then he stopped, I know, but this knowledge does not change. After 1,000 years, I can tell you, he walked from 10 to 10:30 and then he stopped. After 1,000,000 years, I say he walked from 10 to 10:30 and stopped. Yes, I was seeing him walking and then he stopped. Therefore, now I see him not walking. There is a change, but this change is not really changing in knowledge, it's changing in ma'loom. Okay? قلنا العلم بالتغير غير تغير العلم. We say that knowing the change is different from change of knowledge. المتغير ثابت في تغيره. What is changing is changing. Okay. But is change also changing? No. So if you say this person was walking and then he stopped, this stopping of someone who was walking is a change. But is this change going to change so that tomorrow you say, no, he was not stopping? It's always remaining the same. المتغير ثابت في تغيره لا متغيرون, means he is not متغير in تغير. تغير is a fact forever. وتتعلق العلم به, and knowledge belongs to what? To متغير. And we mean by knowledge حضوره عند العالم, its presence with عالم. Salam. تعلق العلم به من حيث ثباته لا تغيره. Belonging of knowledge to متغير is because of its stability, not because of its change, because of the fact that it is fixed. وإلا, if it was not fixed, it was not present. فلم يكن العلم حضور شيء لشيء. If it was not present, then knowledge could not be presence of something for another thing. Because you know, ilm is huzur al-ma'lum and al-alam, presence of ma'lum for alam. وَهَذَا خُلْفٌ. This would be opposite to our assumption. So, what is changing is mutaghayyir, and ilm bil-taghyir doesn't mean taghyir fil ilm. The next chapter is فصل الرابع في أنواع التعقل. There are three types of intellection, three types of understanding with عقل. ذكروا أن التعقل على ثلاثة أنواع. They have said that تعقل has three types. One, أن يكون العقل بالقوة. عقل, which is still potential. What do we mean by potential? Means to be empty. لا يكون شيئا من المعقولات بالفعل ولا له شيء من المعقولات بالفعل لخلو النفس عن عامة المعقولات. عقل بالقوة means that it is not any of the things which are understood actually, and it doesn't have any of those things which are understood actually. So it's empty. لخلو النفس عن عامة المعقولات, because nafs has no ma'qul. It's empty from anything which is understood by intellect. So aql bil quwwa means just potentiality. Number 2, أن يعقل معقولا أو معقولات كثيرة بالفعل مميزا لبعضها من بعض مرتبا لها وهو العقل التفصيلي. The second is that aql knows one or more, one or many. معقولا means one, or معقولات كثيرة knows one or many intelligible things actually, and in a way that distinguishes between them. It knows معقولات but متميزا مميزا لبعضها من بعض. So aql is مميز and they are متميز, means aql distinguishes between them, or they are distinct from each other. Aql puts them into order. So aql has 10 or 1,000 of items that has knowledge about them and knows what is the relation between them. This is called al-aql al-tafsili. It's a kind of detailed aql. Number 3 is that you have many things in your mind. You know many things, but not in a detailed way. You know many things as a whole. Like, for example, suppose you are a mujtahid. There are tens of thousands of questions that they may ask you and you have answered. But it doesn't mean that those questions are all in details in your mind. الثالث أن يعقل معقولات كثيرة عقلا بالفعل is to understand many intelligibles, and this has to be in an actual way. من غير أن يتميز بعضها من بعض, but without these being distinct from each other. So they are not detailed. إنما هو عقل بسيط إجمالي فيه كل التفاصيل. It is one simple عقل in which all the details are there. وَمَثَّلُوا لَهُ, and they have given this example. بما إذا سألك سائل عن عدة من المسائل التي لك علم بها. If a person asks you about few problems, few mas'ala that you know, فحضرك الجواب في الوقت, and then all the answers come to your mind quickly. فأنت في أول لحظة تأخذ في الجواب تعلم بها جميعا علما يقينيا بالفعل. You know, when someone asks you these questions and you have the answers are not distinct from each other. They are not detailed in your mind. But when you start giving answer, you know that you have knowledge of the other answers, and little by little you develop them. فأنت في أول لحظة تأخذ في الجواب. In the first moment that you start, you begin to respond, تعلم بها جميعا. You know all the masail, but do you know them تفصيلا? No. تعلم بها جميعا علما يقينيا بالفعل. You have knowledge which is certain. لكن لا تميز لبعضها من بعض. But it's not تفصيلي, it's simple. ولا تفصيل وإنما يحصل التمييز والتفصيل بالجواب. But when you start responding to these 10 mas'ala, little by little, the detailed answer is developed. كأنما عندك منبع تنبع وتجري منه التفاصيل. As if what is with you is a manba, it's a resource, it's like a tank for water. It's a manba, is a resource that from that all the details originate, all the details flow. ويسمى به عقلا إجماليا, and this is called عقل إجمالي, opposite to عقل تفصيلي, which has all the details. Inshallah, in the next session we talk about مراتب العقل, and we mention 4 levels of عقل. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.